welcome back to the Traditional Legends podcast. We are on season 3, episode 6.
And what we're going to be talking about today is Greenbrier, West Virginia, the Greenbrier Ghost.
Ooh.
Since we're in West Virginia, we might as well talk a little bit about the Appalachian history.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this is a really interesting one because the ghost is actually on the law books.
Yeah, this is insane. So from a law enforcement angle, this is really interesting. This is really cool.
Exactly.
1800s.
1800s.
Late 1800s.
Picture it. West Virginia.
Yeah.
The 1800s.
Greenbrier. So it was a lot of lumber, coal, and farmland. Go figure,
Farmland.
West Virginia.
Wild and wonderful West Virginia.
And with that being said, it was a lot of small town mentality, really
Absolutely.
small town mentality. Thank you, Bear.
This is our guest host, Bear.
Yep. And, industry was huge back then. So
this
a lot
was
of small town.
Well, this was also right in the middle of the industrial age when factories started blowing up, when lumber, as you said, was very, very big, coal mining, things that were going to build America.
Yeah, then we come to, okay, let me get this right here.
Okay.
The names. Wow.
You want me to tackle it?
Erasmus Stribling Trout Shue.
Okay. PSA. Ladies, if he goes by the name Trout.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a no. That's a no.
So,
what do you think, Ben?
this gentleman, I wouldn't even call him gentleman, because
he was a blacksmith.
he was a blacksmith.
He was a big strapping man. And he met Miss Elva Zona Hester. She went by her middle name, Zona. And 1896. I mean, we're right there at the turn of the 20th century.
So what happened initially was, they got married, newlyweds.
Love at first sight. They married in October of that year.
Yep. And
then in January.
She mysteriously.
Well, at the beginning of January, this isn't in a lot of the story. It usually jumps forward. But at the beginning of January, not surprisingly, she began to get ill. She got sick. It happens.
It happens because you're in the winter time.
It's winter time, 1890s, that's all I'm saying. So she was getting sick. And then, what was it? Towards the end of the month, the middle of the month, Mr. Shue, and we're going to call him that, Mr. Shue, because I'm not going to call him Trout. So Mr. Shue went over to Aunt Martha's house.
Yep.
She was a neighbor down the street, and he asked her to send her little boy over. He was about 10, 11 years old.
Because they needed to go to the store.
Right. He needed to go to the store. Zona had been sick. He says, go over there, check on her, do any chores around the house that might need to be done or anything like that.
Yep.
And so he went over in the morning time. He comes back around lunchtime, and the little boy hadn't gone over yet.
Yeah, yep.
Because he had other chores he had to do. Back then, children had chores they had to do all morning long.
Figure.
What?
Yep.
So Mr. Shue was pretty angry that the little boy hadn't gone over yet. And he was like, no, you need to go over there. So finally, about 1 o'clock, the little boy went over there.
Yeah, and he found...
He sensed something off.
Yeah, he found a body, laying in the house.
And a trail of blood.
Ran out, got the doctor.
Got the husband. He alerted everyone. This is where it gets fun. Fun. Welcome to True Crime of Appalachia.
Yeah.
So the doctor comes in, and Mr. Shue is there. He had changed his wife's clothes. He put on a high neck top.
Turtleneck, yep.
Put on a scarf.
Yep.
Put her in the bed where she had been on the floor. And he's holding her. He's like, oh, my darling, please come back to me. And he's holding her close to his chest. And he's just boo-hooing, sobbing. The doctor couldn't do much of a examination.
Yeah. So anyway, let's go back to Mr. Shue. Lo and behold, he had a history.
Well, my.
So he had his first wife divorced him after he abandoned her and their child. Okay. And the
1800s.
Yeah,
1800s.
And the second one died when he claimed to have accidentally dropped a brick on her head while making repairs to the roof of the house. Now you have Zona.
Pure coincidence.
Yeah, pure coincidence.
Well, the original cause of death was heart failure.
Yes.
Her heart just gave out. She had been sick, and her heart just gave out.
Yeah.
So they load Miss Zona up into a wagon. They take over to her mama's house. Now, Mr. Shue would not leave her body. As a matter of fact, during the wake, he stood right at the head of the casket.
Oh, yeah. Make sure nobody looks. Oh, even dressed her up for her funeral with the doctor, too. Tied a little bow around her neck.
And he put pillows around her neck so it wouldn't.
Yeah. Because we'll get to that. But anyway, let's.
What could that be?
Oh, I don't know. But let's get ahead,
Well, a few days later, they get Miss Zona in the ground. But then, her mama is awakened. After praying to see her daughter, she's awakened by the ghost of her daughter.
A ghost of her daughter. Not a dream.
No.
A ghost of her daughter.
Absolutely not. She was actually able to reach out and touch her. I feel like I'm in an old telephone app. Reach out and touch someone.
And her mother, Mary Jane Hester.
Mary Jane?
Yeah, she said that what she saw was not a dream as well, and that Zona had come through to let her know what had happened.
No fewer than 4 times. 4.
4, yeah.
So this isn't just a mother who is heartbroken over the loss of her daughter.
This is persistence.
This is a woman who was having a beautiful supernatural event where her daughter is saying, listen, I was murdered by my husband.
Now, from a perspective here, I myself have had those instances where we've had those farewell spirits. I actually had an instance where I was sleeping 11:30 at night. I was falling asleep, and we were living in Gettysburg. My ex-wife and I, and we had put our son down. She was sleeping in the bed. I was drifting off, and I heard my name called, John. And I look around, and there's nobody there. So I'm like, okay, maybe it's me, falling back. I go back to sleep, and I hear John. I'm like, what the hell? So me being the ghost guy,
You being you.
I've had, at that time, probably about 10 years of paranormal experience. So it's like, oh, all right. I said, listen, I don't want to hear from you. It's 11:30 at night. Go wait. I don't want, and this is, making it PG-13, So I told it to go away. I don't want to hear from it. I want to go to sleep because I knew it was a ghost, and it stopped. Wouldn't you know it? 5 minutes later, I had a phone call. I checked my phone, and I was like, "I'll wait till tomorrow morning. I'll get the message." It was my father asking if I called to say my grandmother had died, and I was like, "No. Here to find out, it was my uncle that called my father to let him know that my grandmother had died."
And he told her to
I
just
told her to get
bug
lost.
off.
Yeah. So
Go, bye, Grandma. Peace out.
so in the context of things, it can very well be true.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And I mean, there are stories of wraiths,
Yep.
which
Not the movie, folks. Not the movie.
which are often considered to be spirits of, I wouldn't necessarily say vengeance, but someone who comes back to right a wrong,
Right or
so
wrong,
on
yep.
and so forth. So back to Zona
Yeah,
and
Zona.
her mother,
Zona
Mary
and
Jane.
Mary Jane,
So
yep.
Zona told her mom, Zona's ghost told her mother that her husband had come home and she had made him dinner and it didn't have any meat.
Yeah.
And mind you, she had been ill. So I personally don't blame her.
You didn't go to the meat market
You
that
know,
day. You know,
yeah, she
it
says,
happens.
hey, we got bread, we got butter, we have vegetables, it's fine. He got mad and strangled her and broke her neck.
This is according to her.
Correct, according to the ghost of Zona.
Uh-huh.
Well, Zona's mama, Mary Jane, she went around and she started telling friends, family, so on and so forth. And everyone just went, oh, no, she's grieving, she's grieving.
Yep.
But Mary Jane's brother-in-law, he went, you know what? Something was a little bit off. So let me go back to Zona's town where she was living on the other side of the mountain. Let me talk to her neighbors. Let me talk to Mr. Shue. Let's kind of dig into this a little bit more. So when Zona's uncle went and began talking to people, they suddenly went, you know, now that you mention it, something was a little bit off. And they started listing all these things.
In true fashion, he would, you know, the killer would, in some mind, either slip, tell somebody, or exhibit symptoms of regret, possibly. Nothing.
He did not.
But the thing of it is, with criminals and even killers, they make a mistake. They're stupid.
This fellow was a psychopath.
Yes.
So, with this purely circumstantial evidence and the testimony of a ghost.
A ghost, yes.
Miss Mary Jane and her brother-in-law went to see the top prosecuting attorney. And they spent hours laying out their story. Everything from the ghostly visitation to what she said, to what the neighbors said. And the prosecuting attorney went, you might have something. And in 1897, they exhumed her body.
And that's all you need. You need that circumstantial evidence. You need that little minute ability to go, all right, we can dig into this. So
Literally.
Literally dig into this.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, you have to understand, you are in rural West Virginia, 1897, and you want to dig up a
Plus on the Bible
corpse.
Belt, yes. Plus
And
on the
you
Bible
want to
Belt.
dig up a corpse. This didn't go over real well.
Yeah.
Now, they picked up Mr. Shue, took him back over the mountain to Zona's family plot, and they made him stand there and watch as they exhumed the body. On top of that, the doctor came in and for 3 days did a full and thorough and complete autopsy. With Mr. Shue sitting in the room watching.
Oh,
so
man.
finally, on the 3rd day, the doctor starts looking around here.
Yep.
He starts looking around here. And you could visibly see Mr. Shue start to shake and start shrinking into himself.
Yeah, so they found a broken neck.
Well. Just like the ghost of Zona said.
Yep.
Now, he is arrested on the spot.
Yep.
On the testimony of a ghost.
Yep, based on circumstantial evidence, which is the testimony of a spirit. You know, this could very well be circumstantial evidence.
Yes, exactly.
Because circumstantial evidence could be anything that leads to believe that a crime has been committed.
And the doctor's like, I really don't think she could have broken her own neck.
Yep.
So they arrest him and he goes to trial. Now, the prosecuting attorney tried to kind of gloss over why they decided to exhume the body. But of course, the defense.
Oh, yeah.
It all came out. And Mrs. Hester, Miss Mary Jane, she was a star witness, and she sat there and she said, no, it was not a dream. This was not a wishful thinking. This was my daughter.
Yes.
And guess what?
After an hour of deliberation, an hour, that's it, only an hour, a jury of the peers found him guilty.
He was sent to Moundsville for life in prison. Oh, that's right, but that life was cut short.
Oh, bummer.
He died just a few short years later of some unknown epidemic.
Yeah.
Unknown. Now, here's the thing. The testimony of a spirit is not something that is exactly new.
Well, neither can lie detector tests. Lie detectors are not admissible into court, but they are circumstantial evidence to believe that a crime has been committed.
Right.
Because the guy lied, or the girl lied. Okay, so what happened? So that just digs even further.
I'm going to be adult about this. So, 1762, England, Cock Lane. There was a home haunted by Fanny Kent.
Ah, yes.
And her ghost accused her husband of poisoning her. The ghost appeared through a series of seances that were held in the house. So authorities did look into it. They did say that it was false. But, let me look at my notes. In 1827, the Red Barn murder. So Maria Martin was murdered by William Corder. Maria's stepmother had dreams. She had dreams about Maria revealing her murder as well as her burial site, because Mr. Corder murdered her and then buried her somewhere. So it was like she had just disappeared. And Maria's stepmother led the police directly to Maria's burial site. And there was a sensational trial. People believed her ghost played a role in discovering it. And Mr. Corder was found guilty and hanged.
So you have all of that. You also have history of people with the ability, psychics, mediums, to come in and discuss, talk about what has happened that has been used as circumstantial evidence in investigations too. So this Greenbrier phenomenon could have very well 100% happened.
Oh, so, I completely believe it. There's no evidence of any communications later on from Zona. So therefore she came back, she did what she had to do, and then she went ahead and crossed over into her joyful afterlife.
So we would love to hear from you. Have you had any stories? Have you heard of any stories of these wraith-like phenomenons, or these individuals that have come back possibly to,
avenge their death,
avenge, quote unquote? We'd love to hear from you.
Or if you've been to Greenbrier, let us know.
Yeah, definitely. That sounds really cool.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. There will be an episode where we visit Greenbrier.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
In the future.
It's in the mix, yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So please subscribe.
Like. Share.
Yes.
Tell all your friends and family.
All right.
Until next time, stay legendary, friends.
See you guys.